Stephen, after the Bulgarian game, well done first of all on that. And you mentioned that there were some areas that you needed to improve on. So what improvement are you looking forward for tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, well, it was just 3 days preparation, so I think the players did really, really well overall. I can't ask any more in terms of how they applied themselves really well. I think it's not something I'm fixated on, but we had 91% pass completion. But what we need to improve on, and that's the question you've asked, is we need more penetrative passes. I think we need to pass, try and open up defences, and that's we've analysed that and looked at that and looked at our play, and so it's just that's one area that I think we need to improve on.
In terms of team selection, I mean, there's one eye, of course, to Slovakia next month. Tomorrow is another game that you have to deal with. So, in terms of who you're going to pick, are you going still at where are you at in that decision? I suppose. In terms of the same 11, are you going to start?
Yeah, no, it's a fair question, and I think there is a balance because we're in. I think ideally you would be thinking that 2 games and straight in Slovakia, but because we're in, some players are in pre-season. For some of the players, that's their first game in 6 months on Thursday night. So there is a balance there to try and get right. I think on one hand, you want the back four, you want that to be consistent. You want solidity in the back four, but we need that injection of energy in the team also. Because some players have really worked hard on Thursday night. It's such a quick turnaround, and they're in pre-season, still haven't played a league game yet. So that's where the balance is. Thank you.
Stephen, David McGoldrick has joined the group. Has he looked fit enough to be considered for selection?
Yeah, I think David is first of all, because of COVID, really, he's not had an opportunity to be presented in a sort of formal situation with International Player of the Year. So, I think it's a great achievement by David to win International Player of the Year for Ireland. And it's great to get him back in the squad because obviously he's had a good season with Sheffield United. And I think he leads the line brilliantly, of course. So the foot injury was problematic for him at the end of last season. It hampered all his pre-season. So he's only really had a week's training. That's his first week back training, if even, so less than that. So he's only, so he comes into the squad, but most likely, not to start. It's too soon for him, but he's definitely in the squad.
I was going to ask you if it was possible in your view that Armida and David McGoldrick could play in the same team, but I'd like you to talk about either his debut and his contribution.
Yeah, I think Bulgaria mark very tightly. They're quite aggressive central defenders. They're set up in a way that with 2 holding midfield players and 2 centre halves, so they're set up a way to defend in numbers and and counter attack. That's the way they play. And I think so. It wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy debut for Adam. He had to, every pass into him was keenly contested. I thought he had a good debut, led the line well, and showed some of the qualities that he possesses.
And how important is it for the players to maintain the belief in your system? I mean, change is going to take time. There's no question about that, but it also takes courage, doesn't it?
No, I think the players' attitude has been absolutely exceptional. They're really great, you sense a real humble group, real humility in the group, and I think they've taken everything we've asked on board, and their attitude has been first class, and we're very appreciative of that.
Okay, thank you.
Well, let's go. Stephen, any injury updates? Is everyone feeling well for Sunday?
Yeah, I mean the game itself took it out of some players, because as you mentioned, some of the players haven't played in 6 months, or that's their first game in 6 months. And So a lot of players not had a lot of football. So I think we have to be cognizant of that, and that comes into your thinking. At the same time, we're trying to achieve somewhat of a balance with, obviously want to win our first game here in the Aviva Stadium, which is all the players that want to do, because every international is really important. But at the same time, we've got a plan also for the playoff against Slovakia. So.
Is everyone fitting well then?
Yeah, everyone's fitting well.
Okay. So judging by some commentary from the Bulgaria game last day, it seemed that some fans were expecting a little more, despite you having just a few sessions with the team. With this in mind, do you think fans need to be a bit more patient, perhaps?
No, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I never ask anyone to. Everyone has, can think for themselves, and if it's subjective. So I've no problem with that. That's part of the game. So I'd never lecture anyone on that.
Yeah, and you touched on it earlier, just about your starting team. Are you tempted to start with the bulk of the team that started against Bulgaria for tomorrow, then, just in terms of continuity and all that?
Yeah, continuity is important, but also I think in key areas, you need energy as well, and I think that becomes that comes into the thought process in regards to selection. And we want to see we want to have a closer look at some options as well for the playoff against Slovakia. But tomorrow's game is important in its own right. And I think against Finland, we respect Finland. They've qualified for the Euros. Tremendous in a group with Italy and Bosnia and Greece. To qualify was a great achievement. We have respect for that. I think. And we'll have to fight hard tomorrow, because it's a very important game for us. Our first game in the Aviva Stadium, and we want to start well, and we'll be determined to try and do that.
Could be your first win in the Nations League too. First.
Right, yeah. But we'll have to earn it. Finland have, they've rested some players against Wales the other night that we expect to come back into the team. And certainly they've had a great campaign, and they're in the Euro, they're where we want to be. They're in the Euros. That's our ambition, is to get there. So I think so tomorrow should be an interesting game, and one that we want to make sure we're ready for.
Gavin?
Hi Stephen, are we likely to see a significant number of changes tomorrow?
I think one of the things we're not going to do is sort of give my team away. I think that's rule number one you learn on under 15s. Don't give your team away. So I think, so we'll have to wait on that, Gavin,
Yeah, I'll go back to under 15s. Can I ask you about James McCarthy, because we know how highly you rated him in terms of your comments ahead of the game. How would you assess his performance in Bulgaria, and if there are any improvements from tonight, what it was improving?
Yeah, James is a really, really exceptional player. I think he's got a brilliant range of passing. He has every pass really that you would need for a midfield player. Plus, he also offers great protection to your back four, because he reads it so well, and he's quick over the ground. And he's a really good player. It's just in pre-season for him. We have to manage James as well. Because it's in pre-season, and we have to be cognizant of that. So, but I think. So it was early for him, so he hasn't played a league game yet.
Yeah, so you obviously feel that there's much more to come from James McCarthy.
Oh yeah, there's certainly there is, yeah.
Yeah, and I just one quick final question. You mentioned the fact that David McGoldrick hasn't got his award yet. I don't know, have you arranged anything in terms of the presentation?
He's physically got his award, we just haven't had a presentation night.
Oh, right, okay. I don't know, have you arranged anything with the squad or anything?
Have I what, sorry?
I don't know, have you arranged any kind of small presentation?
We didn't have the small presentation, but we announced it. Obviously we as David arrived in, we marked the occasion by mentioning it, and he got a firm round of applause from everyone in the group, because very popular member of the group, and obviously it's come late in life for him, to come be an international player. Only really got his first competitive start in the last campaign. So it's come late for him. So in his first campaign to win International Player of the Year is terrific, and he should be really pleased with that.
Thanks. Enjoy it.
Stephen, how are you doing? Before the Bulgaria game, you spoke about you wanted from your team, you wanted speed, confidence, and balance. Were you satisfied with all three of those aspects after the performance?
I think the players expressed confidence. I think definitely. There was a confident display. I think because Bulgaria didn't press as high or defend with a high line, sometimes you can't utilise the speed that you've got in the team. I think that's because space is at a premium when that happens. I think you've got to work opportunities, sharper opportunities to utilise the space. And what was the final? Balance of the team was good overall. Yeah, I felt we controlled the game. We just got punished. For when Kraev scored that goal against us, we got punished, and we had to keep going. And the ability to be fair to the team in the campaign, they managed to score some late goals in the previous campaign, and they backed that up again by getting another late goal. So credit to the players. It shows the mentality is right with the players.
Ahead of the last game, you also spoke about wanting to sort of have a core unit. You'd like to have a core unit to bring continuity from game to game. Are you happy with what you saw? Maybe your perception before the game and what you saw on the pitch. Then is that you sort of same thinking of the core players that I mentioned, in your mind, the key players who you see going into the playoff next month?
Yeah, it was a good performance. I feel we performed well overall. I think our back four, we want to be more cohesive. I think we got exploited a couple of at least two occasions on counter attack. So we need to be cohesive as a back four and make sure that we have the correct balance in there. I think our midfield, our passing was exceptional. A lot of good passing, a lot of good movement, but maybe didn't penetrate Bulgarian backline enough. They were very well drilled, and to be fair to them, Bulgaria defended well. I think and the front three showed all individuals skills that they have, and showed they can all dribble. They all have good movement, and they showed flashes of that. And I think we created a few chances, but just couldn't quite score. So it was great that Shane Duffy come up with the winning header or the equalising goal. It was a terrific header, and so we were pleased with that.
Just on that note about the defence and cohesion, has Darren Randolph been encouraged to almost anticipate balls over top and sweep up to a certain degree, or is that a responsibility you're not giving them specifically?
Yeah, no, that is important. I think that is important because if you're going to press high, you leave space, and that is important. You're correct. Darren Randolph, very sharp off his line, reads it brilliantly. Good decision maker, Darren. I think he's very consistent in the campaign for Ireland in the previous 8 games. We watched the 8 games, scrutinised them, and he was one of our most consistent performers, one of our best performers. So we're happy to have him.
Last couple, please.
Stephen, Seamus Coleman is your captain, but at the same time you still have to leave him out the other night. Was that a difficult decision or discussion to have with him about that?
Yeah, well, I think it's just one of those situations that we have, two of the better right backs in the Premier League, and I think Seamus Coleman's been such an exceptional player for Ireland, and the way he's such a great ambassador for football in Ireland, I think. But regardless of that, apart from that, he's a quality player, and he showed that this year. After the lockdown, he got himself in really good nick, and as he always is, but he was injury free then for that period, and defended really, really well, and got forward well. Matt Doherty has had a season where it's gone brilliantly for him, really, at Wolves, and played a phenomenal amount of games. As Wolves had you know, some season in terms of the number of games they had, you know, was such a high number, and Matt played in nearly all of them. So he got better and better, and obviously it's culminated in, you know, in him getting his move to Tottenham. But you know, he's had, so they both had good seasons, and these are all marginal decisions. And you're right about Seamus. He is a brilliant captain, one of the best captains that we've ever had. I think that's for sure.
I think you spoke, I know you're not going to get us your team, but I know you also spoke with the squad announcement about those midfield three and like the 6 options you have almost in there. Like, would you like at some stage to try and see Harry Arthur and Jason Malumbi in the game tomorrow, or is it feasible just with the sort of the continuity debate that you've got going on there as well?
Yeah, we have good competition and good balance, and we need to see, you know, obviously neither of them have been in the squad in the last campaign, so it is important that that we have options, you know, because in international football, from one window to the next, you never know who could be injured and so forth, who a month later, and who's available and who isn't. So I think it is important that we know that we have options. So we'll have to wait and see on that.
Just the last question, McCarthy.
Stephen, this game has been a long time coming. The long break, it just must be great for you to get out on the pitch and actually get the players around them. I know you've been in communication since you come into the job, but just to get them on the pitch and get them the way you want to play in games.
Yeah, no, it's been great to have to, you know, most international managers in the past have probably had a full week to prepare for the game. We've had 2 days, and then we flew to Bulgaria, and then had a session in the stadium. But we're not complaining. We're delighted that the football is on. It's terrific. We're going into a home stadium. We'd love to be there with a full house. The players that dream about playing in the stadium, really, with a full house. But that's not the case. But nevertheless, every match is an opportunity to play for your country. It's such a proud moment, and I think the players will be looking forward to tomorrow, playing Finland at home, and they know that the Irish supporters will be with us. You know that certainly they will be, and I think that's important.
Thanks very much. Thank you.